Me was the one who, as I walked out and she was walking in one day, said, "Oh, you must be Rosemary's daughter. You look just like her." I'm Jim's wife.
Oh, gosh.
I eat lunch with her every day. I'm like, oh, great. Well, you know, if you're that accepting, I guess it shouldn't bother me either. But it's not what you expect about your mother.
No.
So, we're going to start. We're here. It is Thursday, the 4th of March. And we're here for gentle yoga. So, if you're home, we are going to use a strap today. If you have whatever you use for a strap, whether it's a belt or anything else that works for you, let that be handy. And start to get comfortable wherever you're sitting. So, if you're in a chair, make sure your feet are hips distance apart and parallel. And if you're on the floor, use however many blankets or anything you need underneath you to rise your hips up higher if it helps you. And just close your eyes. Let yourself be with your breath now. Accepting your breath in and out through your nose. See if you can just let your shoulders soften down. Starting to bring your breath into your belly so you feel the belly expand as you inhale. And if you're comfortable to come towards those three-part breaths, inhaling into the belly, into the ribs, all the way up into the chest. And on your next exhale, let your chin come down towards your chest. Release your head forward. Just allow yourself to feel the weight of your head without collapsing in the upper back. So see if you can just enjoy feeling a release down the upper back. And then we'll rise the head on back up. And as you exhale, turn your head to the left so that you just turn to keep the chin parallel to the floor at first. And you're just turning to look to your left. And then lower your chin down just a little bit towards your shoulder, which will find a different place in your neck, maybe up into the upper back. And then bring your chin on back up parallel to the floor and see if you can then rise your chin up a little bit. Look up just a little bit. And then bring your chin on back down parallel. We're going to come back into center. Take an inhale here. And on the exhale, turn to look to the right. At first, keeping your chin parallel to the floor. And on your next exhale, lowering your chin on down. So letting yourself feel that release, maybe between your shoulder blades, maybe in your neck. Really just allow yourself to find what feels good. And then inhale your chin back up parallel to the floor. And only if it feels good to you, let yourself look up a little bit. And then we'll come on back down, chin parallel to the floor, and release our head on back around. Looking forward, we'll release our arms down beside us. And let's inhale our arms all the way out and up overhead. And on our exhale, let our hands come down together in front of our hearts. And then we'll reverse to inhale the hands right up through the midline. And on the exhale, open the arms on back out and down. Let's make one big circle, bringing the arms forward. A big arm circle here, bringing the arms up and over and back behind you if you can. Don't push it. And then we'll reverse. So we'll start reaching backwards first and then come up and over the top and let yourself release there. Good. Now stretch your legs out for a second, whether you're in pose. And then flexing the feet again, letting yourself come into the backs of the legs. And then letting yourself point your feet again. And then one more time, flexing through both feet. And then letting yourself point through. And now we're going to cross our left ankle above our right knee. So if you're in your chair, you'll need to put your right foot on the floor. If you're on the floor, you keep that right leg long. And you can cross above or below your knee. That's up to you. And then see if you can come forward enough to put your hand, your right hand, on that left foot. And press the ball of your foot into your hand. So you're really pushing the ball of the foot into the hand, and your hand is resisting. Now, how much farther forward you come is up to you. If it feels good to release even farther forward with a long back, do. If you're better off, just to stay a tiny bit forward, do. So you're feeling that outer left hip. Good. One more breath here. And then we'll rise on back up, inhaling here at center. And on the exhale, we're going to twist to our left, letting your right hand come around maybe to your left knee. That depends on you. It might be on your shin. You don't have to go that far around, just where it feels really easy to be. Finding that twist in the middle of your back. Feel your sitting bones drawing down. One more inhale. And on the exhale, we're going to come back through center. We're going to keep on going. So let yourself unwind all the way back around to the right side. And where you put your left hand is up to you. On the foot, on the ankle, the shin, doesn't matter. But lengthen up. Good. One more inhale. And then as you exhale, use your belly to bring you back into center. And see if for a second you can reach down and get your leg. Hold on to the outside of your foot and your knee maybe. And see if you can just lift the leg up a little bit. And just gently rock back and forth with the leg. You're just releasing your hip here now. Good. And then we're going to release so we can switch legs. So take your time and be happy that you feel that left hip a little deeper, and we'll come into the right side. So again, right ankle crossed above, or if you're on the floor, a little below the knee. And then come forward enough to put your left hand on the ball of your foot, and then press the ball of your foot into your hand there as you come forward. So really you're engaging quite deeply as you find this hip stretching. In other words, you are really using the hip in a big way as you come forward. Don't overdo. Be where you can. Press into the hand with your foot again. Good. One more breath. Again, finding that twist in the middle of your back. And you can look as far back behind yourself as feels good for you, for your neck. One more inhale. And on the exhale, come on back around again. Remember, we're going to keep on going all the way into the other direction in the other twist. So be easy. Let yourself feel relaxed in your shoulders. Again, you can turn to look as far behind yourself as you want. And then we'll release to come on back around into center. And again, if you can reach down and get that leg, and then use your hands really to pick it up. Try to let yourself really relax in your hip as you just gently rock the leg a little bit back and forth. The legs are heavy, so be mindful. Good. And then we'll go ahead and release, and go ahead and stretch your legs out long on the floor. If you're in your chair, put your feet on the floor. And let's lean back and bring either fingertips or hands onto the floor if you're on the floor, or lean back in the back of your chair. So imagine there's a string attached to your sternum, and it's being drawn forward on a diagonal line, almost like up to where the wall meets the ceiling, depending on where you're sitting in the room, of course. So take your time, let it feel good, open through the front of the body. One more breath. And then come on back up to sitting. Go ahead and lower your chin back down towards your chest again, just to release your neck. And once you're there, turn the chin from one side to the other. So you feel a nice release here in the neck. Good. And then we'll come on back into center. Rise yourself on up. And we are going to come around towards our hands and knees for now. So if you know you don't want to be on your knees, use your chair. Because you can always put your hands up in the seat of the chair. Or you can also grab a blanket and have a blanket underneath your knees so that you're not on the harshness of the ground. Or a blanket under your hands. Like sometimes slipping a blanket underneath the heels of your hands is helpful if your wrists feel a little iffy. Or come onto your fists if you need to, right? So take your time, find your neutral spine, let yourself just send your tailbone back, engage your belly a little bit. So you're neither curling the tailbone under you like you do in cat pose, nor reaching it up like you do in cow pose, but you find that in between where you feel just neutral spined. So one more inhale here. And as we exhale, we'll draw our tailbone up under us. Belly draws in, navel towards the spine as you round up into your cat pose. And on your inhale, send your tailbone backing up. Move your way back through into your cow. Now it's up to you how deeply you go. You don't have to look forward if it bothers you. So the exhale draws the navel towards the spine and the tailbone drops down. You round up into your back. And the inhale sends your tailbone backing up, moving you back through into cow. So take your own time with this now. You may want to move slower, you may want to move faster, you may want to stop in a cat or a cow pose and stay for a little bit. So just totally let yourself be with where you're comfortable to move through. And then finish off, come to the one that you're just now heading into or that you're on, and then we'll come back to that neutral spine from there. And now focus on your belly button and see if you can let yourself make circles in one direction with your navel. Now, they can be really tiny circles, or they can be bigger so that you kind of feel your hips shifting and your shoulders shifting a little bit as you circle. But they might be so tiny that you can hardly even see your shirt move, right? So it's up to you. Just really focus. Go in one direction, inhaling when the navel drops down and exhaling as it draws up in towards your spine. And then when you're ready to reverse direction, stop wherever you want and then see if you can let the navel go the other way. Really imagine using it. Kind of makes you respect belly dancers a little bit, doesn't it? Trying to use those side abdominal muscles and waking everything up there. Finish off the one you're on. Come to more neutral spine again. And we're going to bring our left foot forward and our right foot back and come into our first lunge. Hands can be whatever surface you want to use, whether it's chair, blocks any height. You use the floor if you want to go low. That's up to you. Just make sure that alignment of that front knee is there. You have your knee bent no farther forward than your ankle. Take your time. Be aware of how your wrists feel. So if you need to kind of switch your hands, fists, fingertips, flat hands, holding the edge of the chair if that feels better in your wrist. And we are going to switch legs. So taking your time to come to the other side. Be mindful of getting yourself established in that lunge where you can feel your whole body in the lunge. So you feel like your back is involved, keeping the back of your head in line with your spine, finding that length in the back of your body. Good. And we're going to switch again. Once you get established there, if you feel like you want to bring up your left hand, or if you're lower, your left forearm onto your thigh, you can. Really focus on feeling that right calf right now. Good. And then we're going to switch again. once you come into the lunge. Again, if you get comfortable enough where it feels okay to release right hand or forearm onto your thigh, see if you can then focus on that left calf. Really releasing there and engage your low belly a little bit. Find your whole body in the pose. Good. And from here, we will step forward and come on into standing forward bend. Feet hips distance apart and parallel. Add whatever you need to support yourself underneath your hands or your forearms. And go ahead and bend a knee at a time. Let yourself just walk a little bit. Releasing to where it feels easy up into your hips. And then come on back to feeling equal between your feet. Knees can be soft, you know that. You don't want to lock your knees. Feel your sitting bones over your heels. Let your head hang heavy if you can, as long as it doesn't bother your back. And just receive those full deep breaths now. Good. One more full, complete deep breath here. And then we'll let our hands rise up to our hips. We're going to press our feet into the mat as we come up to standing. Keep your hands on your hips for a second. Feel what your pelvis is doing as you bring your gaze forward. So make sure you're not tucking your tailbone forward. You're sending your tailbone down like it's reaching towards between your heels. But see if you can imagine engaging the belly gently. Just make sure as you start to feel the hips over the ankles, shoulders over the hips, and you bring your hands now to meet in front of your chest, in front of your heart, that you can just easily let your body find your mountain pose here. Feet equal in the floor. Letting your gaze come out as though you're looking at the horizon. And then we'll release our arms down beside us. We're going to inhale just the right arm all the way out and up overhead here. And then come on over into side stretch. Now, once you get over a little bit into the side stretch, bend both your knees. Feel as equal as you can between your feet. Really press. You're not deeply bending, just a little bit. But press equally down into your feet. One more breath. And then as you come into straighter legs, rise back up and then lower that right arm on down beside you. And we'll inhale the left arm all the way out and up overhead. And we're going to come over again a little bit into side stretch. And once you get there, bend both your knees equally just a little bit and press down into your feet in the floor there. Good. One more breath. And then as we come up, our legs come straighter. We come on back up with that arm overhead and then slowly lower the arms on down. We're going to clasp our hands behind us here now. Send your arms pretty long. I mean, you don't want to lock your elbows, but don't have really deeply bent elbows. Take a nice inhale. And as you exhale, bend your knees and come forward to where you're about parallel to the floor. So you have a nice flat back. You're looking straight down in front of you there. Reach back through your tailbone, forward and out through the crown of your head. You can bend the knees as much as you want to feel this as well. Lengthen through the spine. So one more breath. And now if you're okay to fold forward, do. I mean, if you have your chair there, you might want to put your head on the seat of the chair to keep your back long, right? Or you may feel good to fold all the way over your legs. Now the arms coming off the back is a different story for everybody. So if your arms can come away from the back, do. Don't force it. Feel your feet in the floor. Imagine you're trying to widen your mat with your feet. And then we'll release our arms on down. And on your next inhale, find a nice long flat back. And from here, we're going to step the right foot back and come into lunge. Draw your shoulders down, away from your ears now. Press your feet away from each other so you can really feel your hips engaging here. Nice. And we're going to come into downward facing dog pose. So walking into your down dog wherever, whatever height you like your hands to be. So if they're on the blocks, just be careful if you're the highest height. They get kind of tippy. Elbows hug inward. Reach back through your tailbone and your sitting bones. You can walk a little bit, bending a knee at a time. Good. We're going to, on our next inhale, come on out towards a plank. Now, whether you go into a full push-up pose or not is so up to you, right? You can put your knees down and do a half plank if you're on the floor. You can come onto your forearms and do a forearm plank. Feel the belly engaging. Feel the strength there of the core body. And then we'll come on back into our downward facing dog pose. So adjusting back to down dog however you need. Remember, elbows are softly hugging in your down dog. So you feel this real ease in your shoulders. And from here, we will bring the right foot forward to find lunge. So whether you need to put the left knee down to get there or whatever you need to do. And then we'll come on back into standing forward, bend feet right underneath us again. So again, find whatever support. Remember, you can put blocks under your hands. You can put blocks up in your chair to support you if that feels better. You can put your elbows above your knees. Just be mindful so you don't feel uncomfortable at all here. And you can just follow your breath all the way in and all the way out. Good. And then we'll let our hands come on back up to our hips. As we bend our knees, we'll rise up to standing. We're going to inhale our arms all the way out and up. And on our exhale, bring our hands down together in front of our hearts. Let's inhale our hands right up through the midline here now. And on the exhale, open the arms like wings as we come on forward. And let your next inhale help you find that long, flat back. You know, hands can be on your shins or your thighs, on your blocks or your chair. And we will step the left foot back this time to come into lunge. So press the feet away from each other. Feel how your belly engages, how you're engaged more into your hips. And we'll come on into downward facing dog pose again from here. So again, reaching back, whatever height you feel comfortable to be with your hands. Just ease your way back. We're all different in our dog. Good, and on our next inhale, let's come on out towards that plank. Again, it is totally optional what kind of a plank you do. Go to forearms if you need to. Put your knees down if you want. If you'd like to do push-ups, you can bend your elbows. Elbows can come in towards your ribs a little bit. And then we'll come on back into down dog again. And from here, left foot is going to come forward. So whatever you need to do to come back to that lunge, left foot forward. Good, and then we'll step all the way back into standing forward bend. Easily breathing. So coming right to your breaths. Feeling the release. So imagine on your exhale, so your head just wants to release a little closer to the floor. Good. And then we'll bring our hands on up to our hips, bend our knees, rise up to standing, and inhale our arms all the way out and up overhead. And on our exhale, let our hands come down together in front of our hearts. Let's bring our left arm on top of our right. Give yourself a hug, whether it's lower or higher, doesn't matter. Be easy. Let your head, if you can, turn a little bit from side to side. And then see if, when you come back to center with your head, if you can then just tilt the head from side to side. So there's just a little bit different feeling there. Different part of the back probably feels a little stretch, and then finish off with your head back center. Now you can stay hugging or you can head towards a half or eagle wrap, right? If you want to slide the back of your right hand to the outside of your left elbow, you can do your half wrap there. Or you can send the backs of your hands towards each other, even putting your right fingers on your left palm if you want, coming into your full wrap. Good. And then we'll release to let the arms come on down. Let's inhale the arms all the way out, straight out from the shoulders. T position with your arms here. And then go just a little bit higher with the hands. See if you can let your shoulders though soften down. And then we'll bring our right arm on top of our left to give that hug. And again, chin down for a second. And then bring your chin on parallel and see if you can then just turn to look from one side to the other. And then when you come back to center this next time, let your head tilt side to side. So be mindful, let it feel good. You know, if you find a place where you just really want to stay and hang out, do it. You know, giving the body time to adjust, letting if you have a tightness in a muscle there, giving it a little bit of time. Bring your breath to where you need it. Once we come back up this next time, we'll head towards either the half wrap or the full eagle wrap. So the back of your left hand can slide to the outside of your right elbow. And if you're just pressing the elbow into your hand and the hand back into your elbow, that's an engagement in your shoulder there. You can do the full wrap if you want. Backs of the hands towards each other, coming in to where feels good for your shoulders. One more breath. And then we'll release the arms on down. We're going to inhale both arms all the way out and up overhead. And on the exhale, we'll bend the knees and come forward into our standing forward bend. Let your next inhale help you find that flat, long back. And this time, just let your hands be where you like as you walk into down dog. So whether you're using the chair or the blocks or the floor, walk on back into your down dog. And on your next inhale, come on out towards a plank. Optional back bend here. You can stay in plank. You can go down to the floor and do a sphinx or a cobra. Or you can come through into an up dog right from your plank if you want to. And then we'll make our way back to down dog. Remember, these are optional, these back bends. Take your time. We're going to come out again towards that plank. And again, it is optional whether you want to do a back bend. Stay in your plank if you would rather. Move through if you choose to a back bend of choice. And then we'll make our way back again into downward facing dog pose. Good. From here, we're going to bring our right foot forward to come into lunge. And then we'll come all the way back into standing forward bend. And really find a place to be comfortable here. Now, if it feels good to you to hold your elbows, do. If you want to put your hands behind your legs or up on your back, if that feels good, to bring your arms back behind you. Or use support, right? Easy, full, deep breaths. From here, we'll bring our hands up to our hips and bend our knees and rise on up to standing. And inhale our arms all the way out and up. And on our exhale, let our hands come down together in front of our hearts. So look down for a second. Check out your feet. If you need to shift around a little bit or walk in place a little bit so you get really even between your feet, do. And then once you start to bring the gaze on up and forward, let your hands just gently come right there to where they want to kind of plug in towards your breastbone. Your thumbs kind of gravitate. It doesn't matter whether it's higher or lower, just wherever feels comfortable for you, and you can have that sense now of being grounded through your feet, thighs gently engaging upward, And once the pelvis is aligned, the shoulders just want to come over the hips. Think about your ears being over your shoulders. Lengthen the back of your throat. Enjoying your mountain pose. And then we'll go ahead and let our arms come on down beside us and shake out a little bit. Walk around if you need to. Move through your feet, your ankles. We're going to come into some warriors. I'm going to turn my chair around. Have your blocks handy here for our series here. And we're going to start with Warrior 2, stepping our right foot back and our left foot forward, lining up our heels and bending into that front knee so that you feel really easy to be there. Remember, how far apart your feet are doesn't matter. Aligning that front knee, letting that left foot be parallel to the long edge of your mat, and the back foot about parallel to the back edge, depending on you, how far back you send your heel. And then from here, let's bring our hands to our heart. Let yourself just bring your gaze on just directly forward of your chest there. And then unfold your arms, hands down to your thighs. And as you inhale the arms on up, float them on up and out. Go ahead and turn your gaze to look out over the top of that left hand. Feet in the floor here now. See if you can feel very equal from your feet all the way up through your legs into your hips. Good. And now put your right hand on your right hip. We're going to straighten our left knee out. And we're going to bring our left hand down for triangle. So you kind of elongate the underside of the body as you bring that left hand down. Maybe to your leg, maybe to the chair back. You can stay up high. Or you can come down to the block if you like. And then rotate that right shoulder up. If you want to add the right arm, it can come straight on up there from your shoulder. Feel your thighs engaging up towards your hips. Good. One more breath. And then we'll bend the left knee. We're going to come on back into Warrior 2. Press the feet away from each other as you come. And now turn your left palm up and inhale, reach up towards the sky with your left hand. Coming into that reverse warrior. One more breath. And on the exhale, we'll come in the side angle this time. The left knee stays bent. Either your hand or forearm can go onto your thigh. And if you want to swing that right arm up into line with the right side of the body, you can. If that bothers your shoulder, don't do it. Keep your hand down. Or you can put the hand up where we had it in triangle too. So if your shoulder bothers you, find what's okay for your shoulder. One more breath. And we're going to come on back into Warrior 2 from here. Pressing those feet away from each other. And now, straighten that front knee out for a second. We're going to turn into lunge. So as you come around, you decide, do you want to put your hands on blocks or on the chair back or the chair seat? And find your lunge where you're releasing that right heel directly behind you. And then we're going to add a twist. Left hand on up to the left hip. Rolling that left shoulder up. And taking your time here to either stay as level as you can in your hips. Hand can stay down, or you can stretch your left arm up if you want. It's fine to keep the hand down. Good. One more breath. And then we'll come back to the lunge, but from here, just straighten your left knee out. Let your right back heel go directly back behind your foot. It might be on the floor and it might not, but it just increases that stretch in the back of the legs here. So just enjoy, kind of elongate your torso out over that inner left leg there. One more breath. And then bend the front knee so you can step forward and get your feet right underneath you. Take your time, let the knees bend. Actually, bring your elbows above your knees for a second. Really support yourself. Lengthen out your spine. Send your tailbone back. Let it feel like a release there in your hips. Good, and then bring your hands to your thighs. Press your hands into your thighs and rise on up to standing. We're going to inhale the arms all the way out and up overhead. And on our exhale, let our hands come down together in front of our hearts. Take a breath or two here in mountain pose. Feeling as equal as you can between your legs, up through your hips, your shoulders. And then we'll unfold our arms on down beside us. Shake her out a little bit. We're going to go to the other side. So, again, have your blocks handy if you're using them. Have the back of the chair if you need it. When you step that left foot back, so if you feel a lack of balance, you know, that chair can be really helpful. Lining up your heels and lining up that front knee. And bringing your hands to your heart here. Letting your gaze come like you're just looking forward of your body, right? So you're not looking to the front of your mat, you're kind of looking towards the side of your mat, right? And feel balanced here. Even though that front knee is bent and the back leg is a little straighter, feel balanced and equal. And as we unfold our arms down, hands to the thighs, and float those arms up into Warrior Two arms and turn our gaze to look out over the top of that right hand. Reaching the fingertips away from the midline, shoulders softening down. Good. And then we'll bring our left hand down to our left hip. We're going to straighten the right knee out. Both legs are straight. Right hand's going to come down for triangle. So you can decide. Hand can be up as high or as low as you want. You can put your hand on a block. You can put it on your leg, above or below your knee. Let that left shoulder roll up. If you decide to add the top arm, by all means, you can stretch that hand straight up from your shoulder. And really enjoy feeling the uplift through the thighs so that you feel like you're creating space in your knees. One more breath. And we're going to bend that front knee and come on back into Warrior Two here now. So pressing the feet away from each other, finding that strength. And we'll turn the right palm up now. And inhale, reach up towards the sky. Let yourself feel the breath coming into the right side. And on your next exhale, coming into your side angle, which brings the right hand or forearm down to your right thigh. Adding this top arm if you choose to. If not, don't do it. Remember, shoulders are all different. Hand can stay down. If you are having the arm up there so that it's in line, think of your pinky turning downward a little bit towards the floor. Really gets the shoulder into a better place. We're going to come on back into Warrior Two from here, pressing those feet away from each other. And now, as we come around to lunge, you got to decide what height you want to be. Do you want to use the chair seat or the back? Do you want to come down to the blocks any height or the floor? And then bringing your right hand to your right hip and turning into your twist here. Hand on the low back. It can stay right there, or you can stretch the arm up if you choose. Just take your time. Good. One more breath. And then letting yourself come back to lunge. We're going to straighten that front knee out. Let the left heel just release directly behind your foot, whether it's on or off the floor. And you're elongating your torso out over that front inner leg. Good. One more breath here. Good. And then we're going to step forward. So bend your knee, get your feet right underneath you, whatever you need to do. Depends on how much you have in front of you there. And then go ahead and release into your standing forward bend, whatever way you need to. So if you need to use support, do. If you like to hold your elbows, do. If you like to bring your hands behind your legs, just be mindful. See if you can actually turn your head a little bit from side to side. And you can even let your shoulders sway a little bit. So when you look to the left, your left shoulder can come forward. When you look to the right shoulder can. So you're actually kind of twisting a little bit upside down. And then finish off. Come on back into center. And we'll let ourselves bring our hands to our hips. Bend our knees, press into our feet, and rise on up to standing. And inhale our arms all the way out and up. And on our exhale, let our hands come down together in front of our hearts. So find your mountain pose. real easily, feeling your breath. Let your breaths even out. Imagine that your inhales and exhales are equally important. Nice. And then we'll go ahead and release our arms on down and shake it out just a little bit. From here, grab your blocks and turn sideways on your mat. It doesn't matter which way. You guys have a lot of room in here. We have plenty of room today, so you're not going to be too close to anybody. But widen your feet out, wider than your shoulders, right? As much wider as you think for a wide-legged forward bend you'd like to come. And then come on forward with your hands down to blocks, highest height here at first, even if you don't usually. And then once you get your hands down, go ahead and bend a knee at a time so that you adjust your way a little bit. And you can decide whether you feel like you'd rather come a little bit with your feet a little closer together or a little farther apart. And then come on back into center. Legs can be still a little bent, or you can come into straighter legs. But imagine you're pressing your mat so that you're imagining lengthening it with your feet. And feel your inner thighs go melt their way back behind you, and your sits bones widen out. And that's what happens in this pose. So lengthen out through the spine here. We're going to add a little twist. So you're going to put your weight onto your right hand and bring your left hand up to your left hip and roll that left shoulder up. Now keep pressing the feet away from each other. Find that twist in the middle of your back. Feel level. So when you put your hand on your low back, you're not dropping into that right side. You're really level. And then come on back down with that left hand. And we're going to bring the right hand up. So pressing the feet away from each other and drawing that right shoulder up. And coming into that twist where you're level there in your hips. Good. Keep pressing the feet gently away from each other. Good. And then bring your hand on back down. And let's walk over to the right. Now you can shift with your blocks walking to the right, or you can walk your hands on the floor and come over to the outside of your foot. That's up to you. Stay when you get as far as you want to go and breathe. And then we'll come back through center and we're going to walk the other way. Again, you can just walk with your blocks a little bit. You can go all the way over. Hold on to the outside of the leg, but see if you can stay there and breathe. Good. And then we'll come on back into center again. And adjust to be where you can stay here to be with your breath. If you like to use blocks underneath anything, your forearms, your head, you can adjust those blocks. You can let yourself just release and hang if that's comfortable for you. Just feel the breath now, fully and deeply in and out. Good. One more full deep breath here. And now to come up. You know, this is totally up to you how you do it. You can bring your hands to your thighs. You can walk your feet together more if you need before you rise up. And if you're dizzy, you know, staying wide for a couple of breaths can be helpful. And then bring your feet on together. Move around a little bit. We are going to bring our mats all the way into a wall. So let yourself bring the short edge of your mat into the wall. And we're going to hit those straps. Yay! So from here, we're going to bring left hand towards the wall. All right? Standing on your mat. You're going to put your strap down in front of you and step the right ball of the foot onto your strap. Now, as you do this, I mean, you're looking at your foot on the strap on the floor. Just make sure you're kind of at the base of the ball of the foot so that when you lift that foot up in front of you, like you're stepping up a step and you're holding onto your strap, you can see your foot and tell whether you're rolling to the pinky toe or the big toe side of your foot. Try to be pretty equal if you can. Now, keep it really low and come into a straighter leg. Your leg is straight. You're pressing into the strap. You can think about letting go of the ball if you want, bringing your gaze forward. And if not, hold on to the wall for dear life. You don't have to let go. There's your core work right there. And now see if you can put your hand on the wall if you need. Open that leg out to the right, about 45-degree angle. Leg is still straight as you can, and you're rotating the heel forward. And again, if you want to practice balancing there. Now, most of us tend to tense up our shoulders by now. Try to let your shoulders go. Feel your core body working there. And then bring the foot back in front of you again. Now you're going to bend your knee and bring the foot behind you and bring the strap over your shoulder. So the strap will end up, for most of us, on the top of the foot or the ankle. So you want to think about the toes facing right down. If it feels uncomfortable the way the strap is, kind of reach back and adjust if you need. But press into that strap with the foot, and you're going to feel your quad. That might be enough right there. You don't have to let go of the wall. You can if you want. You can balance a little bit there. You can keep your hand on the wall and let your foot go back behind you a little bit and let your torso come a little forward too, if that feels good. That's up to you. Don't have to do that part. And then another thing, if you want to really go for balance, you come back up so that you can put your right hand above your head, the strap's above your head, and then you reach back and you hold on to the strap, right? Now that is not for everybody, but you can do it if you want. You can practice a little bit of balance there. You can let yourself come a little forward or not. This is up to you. Just find yourself a little bit going on there in your quad. And then we'll release and come on back down from there. And we're going to turn around and do the other side. So again, stepping left foot now into the strap and looking at your foot. So, you know, if it's on the floor and you can tell you're already kind of cockeyed, try to fix it. And then bring your foot up like you're stepping up a step, right? You can look at your foot as you straighten that leg out and you start to bring your gaze forward. You think about what you need to do to let go of the wall. And that doesn't mean you have to let go of the wall, but boy, you can feel what happens, even just thinking about letting go of the wall, right? So press into that strap. There is a lot of core strength right there. And then if you can hold the ball, open the leg to the left, about 45 degrees for most of us. Heel rotates forward. There's this huge lift through the front of the right hip in order to think about balancing here. So you don't want to drop into that right hip. Good, and then we're going to bring it back to the front again. And then we'll bend the knee, bring the strap over the shoulder, and the foot comes behind you. And again, it might come to your pointed foot, the top of your foot, or to your ankle. Now you can stay right there. Press into the strap. Think about letting go of the wall if you want. Feel your quad engaging. If you feel more comfortable to come forward, you can send the foot back more. Let yourself come forward a little bit. And you can think of balancing there. And of course, that final coming knee back down, strap above your head, and thinking of holding onto the strap with both hands is totally optional. And you can come forward from there a little bit if you want. So obviously, not only is this core, go ahead and release, big hip work, right? So sit back at the wall. Let yourself just sit, bring the feet forward, and bend the knees a little bit. Let your back release. Now, don't try to tilt your pelvis anyway. So it's just natural curve in your low back. You're not pushing your back into the wall and tucking. You just want to let yourself release. And you'll feel your quads, but it's a kind of a release for the quads, right? Should feel good. gonna walk ourselves back, and we're gonna come down to sit on the floor. And you're more than welcome to get blankets if you want to sit up on blankets. So let yourself come on into sitting with your legs out in front of you. And once you get there, bring your hands back behind you, kind of like we did at the first of class, where you're thinking of drawing your chest forward on that diagonal line. Flex your feet, feel your heels in the floor. Doesn't matter where you look. It is totally up to you and your neck, whether you want to look up a little bit or look all the way up if that doesn't bother your neck, or look forward, right? And then from here, we'll come on up, and we're going to come forward into a little seated forward bend. Now, you might want to bend your knees. You might even want to put blocks or a rolled up blanket under your knees. So if you're tight in your hamstrings and your low back, the tendency is to come forward like this, rounded, right? But you really want to think of coming forward from your low back. So if there's that tightness, it makes it even more difficult to come in a forward bend like this with your long spine. But work where you can. Let yourself try to just release to wherever your body allows you to be. And just breathe. Once you can let yourself release into your breath and accept where you are. You know, structurally, we're all different, and that's why yoga poses are so great. It's why you have some that are favorite because they're easy for you to do, and then you have some that are more challenging and more difficult, but those might be the ones that, you know, might be the most beneficial. So take your time. One more breath. And then we'll slowly come on back up. And from here, keep your left leg forward and long, and we're going to bring our right foot across to the outside, either below your knee or above your knee. And that's, again, up to you and your hips, right? You want to be able to feel both your sitting bones on the floor or the blanket if you're up high or on blocks. In other words, you want to be level in your hips, right? And then take a nice inhale. And on the exhale, we're going to twist to our right. So your right hand comes around behind you. Your left hand can be on that right knee. Or you can scoop your elbow to hook onto that knee if you like. Or bring your arm all the way across. If you're a deep twister and your arm can come all the way across to the outside of that right leg, go for it, right? But just be mindful. You don't want to twist so far that you can't breathe. So, you know, if you're like trying to force yourself with your arms into the twist so much, then just release a bit. When you inhale, come back out of it. And when you exhale, maybe you can deepen the twist a little bit more, but again, you want to be able to breathe. So take your time. Enjoy. Good. One more breath here. And then as you come on back slowly around the center, sit for a second here at center. Let yourself just kind of hold on to your knee there and lengthen up. And then we're going to stretch our right leg out long, and we're going to bring our left foot across. Again, it can be low, below the knee, or above. Let yourself lengthen up. Feel your sitting bones reaching down. Inhale. And as you exhale and you bring the left arm on around behind you, think about these right ribs coming over towards that left inner thigh. Again, hand can be on the knee. If your knee's right up there by your chest, you might want to hook your elbow around it, or you might want to go to the outside of the leg. So again, if you need to come out of the twist a little bit some when you inhale, do it. Good. again, take your time. Hold on to your leg there, your knee, your shin. Lengthen up. And then we'll stretch that leg on out in front of us as well. Move through your feet and your ankles just a little bit. And grab your blocks. And bring your blocks behind you. You can try lowest height. You'll kind of know when you get back here onto your forearms on your blocks how high you want to be up. You don't want to do the top height because they're too tippy, but you could do the middle height or you could do the lowest height. And try, if you can, not to sink your chest down. Think about drawing your chest up. So that puts your shoulders in a different place. And try bringing your feet off the floor and your knees into your chest. Now mind you, this is not easy. So this might be enough, or you might go, I'm not doing any more, I'm putting my feet back down. That's fine. If you can, extend your legs up long too. Flex your feet. Feel the the inside of your heels touching if you can. And then just lower your legs a little tiny bit, and it doesn't take long to go, oh my. There's my belly and my low back. There's your core. There's a boat pose variation. Right? You can bend the knees whenever you want because it's very intense. So try it again. Bring the knees in if you can, and you decide, do you want to bring your legs up? And if they're bent, that's fine. And then you can start to lower down a little bit until you feel that go, oh, hello. Stay there for a breath if you can. And then lower your feet on down. Separate your feet wider and let your knees come from one side to the other, just what you automatically, naturally wanted to do. Doesn't seem like that should be so hard, does it? Oh, but we're going to release, and we're going to come around to our backs from here. So whatever way is the best way for you to do that, get everything out of your way. Come on down onto your back on the floor. Bring your knees into your chest. And slide your knees towards your shoulders a little bit. And then send your feet up in the air like you're putting footprints on the ceiling. And there's a happy baby. You don't have to reach up and get your feet. You know, you can even put your hands on the outside of your knees or your legs there and kind of press your legs into your hands a little bit. And that feels really good to me. Or you can reach up for happy baby, hold your feet. You know, that even just little tiny changes that you make in poses can be so incredibly different feeling, right? So take your time. You can roll back and forth if you want, if that feels good to your back. Good. And then we're going to let our feet come back down to the floor, set up like you're doing bridge pose. And now bring your arms overhead if you can. They can reach towards the corners of your mat, or you can let the arms be higher up. I like to let them be more like a wide V, but that's up to you. Whatever feels good for your shoulders. And here you are. Just let your back be neutral. See if you can press into your feet and just rise up just a little bit into a bridge pose. Don't go high. It's different with your arms overhead. So just come up where you can. You come down if you need. You don't have to stay up. You're more than welcome to go up again or not. Come down and rest. Play a little bit. And then if you're like, wow, this isn't for me to have my arms up like this, then go ahead and release your arms down alongside you if you'd rather. Or if you'd rather get a block and come into supported bridge, by all means do that if that's better for you. So you get to pick. You get to pick if you want to move up and down from bridge, if you want to go up into your bridge and stay, if you want to have your arms down or up, or if you want to support on a block and stay there. Remember, the feet, how far away they are from you before you come up into bridge can really change how your bridge pose feels. Just make sure, and everybody in here is very well placed with their feet, that your feet are fairly parallel and usually a little bit wider, more like kind of to the outside of your hips. For most people is more comfortable than having the feet closer together, right? But that's up to you. Take your time. You all know you might have wanted to come down long ago, which is fine. Let yourself release however you need. Once you come down from bridge pose, release your back. So if you need to take a little bit longer, do. If there's another way your body wants to move right now, or another pose that you feel like doing, by all means, do it. If you need a twist, there are all kinds of twists you can do. Knees, double knees coming side to side, or one knee coming in and across. So be mindful and let yourself enjoy. And don't rush. I'll start to come around just in case. I can bring stuff. If you're at home, remember, if you don't have a bolster, you can make your own. You can kind of roll up a blanket like a log, which is a pretty good sometimes support for under the knees. Sometimes using two pillows that are kind of firm helps. And also, you know, we are all so different. Anything that helps you be more comfortable, you really want to do it. A little bit of a blanket under your head if you feel like your chin lifts up when you're lying out, or letting yourself have cover if you feel like you're chilly. And that's the same thing here. If anybody wants a blanket, please let me know. You're welcome. Even if it's just for your feet. Although it is a little warmer today, I think. So as we head into spring, just let yourself enjoy feeling the support of the ground. Enjoying your breath coming in and going out. And you know, if you feel a little uncomfortable in your arms or your legs, the way that you're lying, you can move and adjust to where it feels much easier to release into your breath. And then just be with your breath. It's as easy as that. Just letting your awareness, letting your focus keep coming back to your breath. And it is a practice. But it does become easier and easier just to let yourself keep coming back to your breath and let your body undergo these little changes and finding these little quiet places. And just give yourself the gift of these few minutes to completely and fully relax. And your fingers and your toes, your hands and your feet can lead you into moving. So that as you move up into your arms, your legs, take your time. If you need to stretch, let everything stretch. If you need to draw your knees in towards your chest, just be mindful. Take your time to let yourself come back to moving naturally. You know, you're welcome, of course, to roll to either side. If that's comfortable for you to be in a soft fetal position on your side, you can. And then when you're ready to rise up to sitting, just float your way up if you can. Let yourself stay feeling very soft. So it's almost like as you start to sit up, your bones take over your spine. So your spine lengthens up, but you can still stay really released in your shoulders and your hips. And you can let your head come to float up there on top, feeling that lightness as well. Space between your ears and your shoulders. And on your next exhale, letting your hands just come gently to meet in front of your chest. And wishing each one of you a very joyful day. Namaste.
Namaste.
Happy Thursday, everyone. First week of March nearly done.
Well, thank you, Kaye.